What's happening YouTube? Owen here from Dark Entertainment, the place to hear tales from Wales and afar. If you're into creepy stories donated to us by people like yourself, then feel free to like and subscribe. Now, let's get into the video. Welcome to episode 5, The George Inn in Norton St. Philip, and The George at Bathampton. Norton St. Philip's is a small village in the heart of Somerset. Buildings in the village date back to the Tudor period and further. Quaint Bathstone houses line the streets and could be called a picturesque English country village. It would be difficult to believe that this was the site of an incredibly bloody battle that engulfed the local countryside in the late 1600s. The pub itself dates back to 1397 and is closely related in history to the Skirrid Inn featured in our episode 1 of our Haunted Pub series on this channel. It featured heavily during the Pitchfork or Peasants' Rebellion of 1685. A battle during the rebellion took place within the village at a place called Chevers Lane. The battle was so fierce and brutal that the locals still refer to it as Bloody Lane. This is due to the description of the lane from the period. It is said that the fighting was so fierce that rivers of blood ran down the hill. Chevers Lane is an incredibly narrow and steep lane that is lined on either side by Tudor dwellings. It is easy to imagine a small battle where no one could move and were cut down where they stood, allowing the blood to flow down the hill. Just like the Skirrid Inn, the George was used as a courthouse by the infamous Judge George Jeffreys during the Bloody Assizes. 12 executions were sanctioned by the ruthless judge at the George Inn, which were then carried out on the village common. I have spoken to the current landlady of the George about her experiences. Although she has personally never seen an apparition, during lockdown the pub was unable to operate as were most businesses. At this time, the pub remained completely devoid of life, with the exception of the landlady herself. All doors and windows were locked during this time. And yet, the sound of the doors on the first floor slammed. She has stated that customers staying in the guest rooms have reported that the translucent figure of a maidservant can be seen passing through their room at night. She travels through walls and doesn't respond when spoken to. Another frequent sighting is that of a 17th century guard. Once again, he is described as see-through in appearance and unresponsive. He, however, has his own story. During the trials at the Bloody Assizes, the hanging judge sentenced 12 men to hang. One of those men was innocent. A guard had been mistaken as one of the rebels and detained with them. Despite his pleas of innocence, Judge Jeffreys had him hung as one of the 12. He became known as the innocent bystander and is believed to be the ghostly guard who remains at the pub. I was also told that the spirit of a young boy roams the halls, but the staff have not seen him. According to sources on the internet, a young boy with blonde hair is said to roam the property. His ghostly laughter can be heard echoing through the corridors. I was unable to find out the possible identity of the child. I was only at the George for a small space of time before I had to travel back to Wales. On the way, I stopped at another pub in Bathampton, also called the George. It was now late afternoon, and a rare weather occurrence in this country had happened. It's more commonly known as a sunny day. As a result, the pub was absolutely packed. This unfortunately meant that I could not have a proper chat with the staff. The member of staff I did speak to whilst buying a drink implied that he had experienced something in the pub, which he could only describe as paranormal in nature. Sadly, I was not able to wait to speak to him and had to make a move. Looking online, the pub dates back to the 17th century, but was first licensed in 1791 by the Fisher family. It was eventually passed on to the lord of the manor. Interestingly, The pub was the site of the last legal duel in Britain, which resulted in the death of John Baptiste Dubar, or Viscount Dubar, on the 18th of November 1778. After the duel, he was assisted into the pub, where he later died of his injuries. Apparently, a darkened figure has been seen standing in the bar. It is stated that the apparition resembles the Viscount. However, during the 18th and 19th centuries, the pub was also used to house the bodies of those who had died of unnatural causes. They were laid out here whilst inquiries were held into their deaths. Could the ghostly figure be that of one of the poor souls who suffered a horrible death? I'll leave it to you to decide. Anyway, that's all from us here at Dark Entertainment. We hope that you've enjoyed the episode. We are now on Twitter under Dark Entertainment Wales. Feel free to check us out. If you would like a story that you've experienced to be shared on the channel, feel free to drop us a message or leave a message in the comments. Ta-ta!